Buzu, on in. I'm Tanya Talaga. It's good to see you all. Thanks everyone for joining first ever Writers Trust live stream. You should know too that this is closed caption. I am a Writers Trust director and a full-time author, and I'm really happy to be here today, and I'm going to give a small land acknowledgement. We are here in Takamoto. We are on the land of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the traditional territory of the Huron-Wendat people. It's good to see all of you. You know, in this time of isolation, in this time of loneliness, this is also a time for us to come together, and I'm so glad that we're all here today. I want writers to know that we're all thinking of you. You know, we're all feeling creative people, and we're all wondering how you're doing. We're all thinking about where you're coming from with your next creative project, if it's stalled, what's going on in your mind. We're going to talk a lot about all the things today, and we're going to talk a lot about advice on how to move forward and how to sort of cope in these strange times. I also want to say too, before we begin, that it's really important, if you're able to, please apply for the $1,500 grant through the Writers Relief Fund. It's a program that's put forward by the Writers Trust and by the Writers Union of Canada. The second deadline for applying is actually tonight at midnight. So please, please apply. And I'd also like to quickly thank the RBC and Access Copyright Foundation for donating funds, and to all of the people that have donated funds to help writers across this country. So as I said, the theme of this webinar is going to be, how has your writing life changed? How's it been affected? You know, it's kind of like understatements, aren't they? How has your writing life changed? I'm imagining like all of you are like me, and your writing life has changed quite significantly. And sometimes it's hard to concentrate and to put pen to paper and get your thoughts out there. But before I begin, I want to introduce everyone that's joining me today here. We have Michael Crummey, who is joining us from St. There he is. Hi. Marian Taves is joining us from Toronto as well. She's here.
Hello.
Eden Robinson is on the other side of Turtle Island. She is in Kitimat, BC right now. Eden?
Hello.
And hello to Heather O'Neill from Montreal.
Hi.
One day we'll write about the technological cluster that happened before this live stream happened at 1 o'clock. There's a reason why we're all writers, that's all I'm going to say. But first, I do want to start with a question. I'm going to throw this out there to everyone. I sort of alluded to the fact that, you know, I've been finding it difficult to concentrate and to sort of sit and get my thoughts out sometimes, because it's like we're being bombarded on every side from major news events of the day, and it's difficult. It's difficult when your whole writing life and taken a dive for the next several months. You know, we're all writers, and we're all probably going out on tours and speaking to groups of people and going to literary events, and they've been canceled all across the globe. So I want to ask, so you guys, how are you feeling, and how is your daily COVID writing life? What's it look like?
When all the shutdown started, I was doing a writing residency in Campbell River. I was at the Hague Brown House, and March was my busiest time. So when we all had to self-isolate, all that got canceled. and I was away from home. Um, and then one of my last class visits, one of the students had come in contact with someone with COVID. So everyone in that class had to self-isolate for 2 weeks. The residency ended, and I traveled back home to Kitimat, where I'm again self-isolating for 2 weeks. So it's giving me a lot of alone time.
Yeah, yeah. That must that must have been felt so strange for you. I mean, contact with somebody that had the virus as well, and then you have to isolate. Um, are you with your family? Eden?
So, I can drive by and honk at her now, which feels much better. I'm
Oh,
okay. Hello?
hi, Mary. Can you hear me? What is your writing day like? Or I'll throw this out to anyone since we have been having a little bit of techno issues, and I do apologize for people who are watching. We're sort of losing people when we were doing our hour-long test earlier. Some folks would drop on and drop off of our live stream. So this may actually end up being me talking about how my life has changed for an entire hour. Thank everybody on the call. Or I'm just going to, or we can just have Eden laughing for an entire hour. So I can hear.
I like that.
Perfect.
Well, I'm finishing the last novel in the Trickster series. I just did my, and the ending turned a lot darker when I was self-isolating for uh, the first 2 weeks. So now that I'm home, I think it'll lighten up a bit.
Your last novel for the Trickster series. I'm so excited. I can't wait for that
Oh,
as a
thank
super fan. But I have to ask you, has your writing changed? Has this influenced you at all in the book?
Well, it got a lot. It went into a headspace that I haven't been in a long time. So it went really, really dark. Uh, so now that I'm home, I'll see if that, makes a difference. Because self-isolating here is different than self-isolating in Campbell River. Like I can see my cousins. Like they can come to the window and we can chat. So it feels very different here.
It's nice to see a friendly face, Yeah.
It really
Especially as this
is.
it goes on and on. Sometimes it feels like, when is this going to end? And then, yeah.
Yes.
It's a huge mental shift too, isn't it? I mean, you said that March is your busiest period.
Yeah.
Or you,
For the residency, I think there was 5 public events, 2 class visits, and two one-on-one manuscript consultations, and then a talk. So that was all in the last 2 weeks, and that all got canceled.
it all got canceled. Yeah. Yeah. It's been crazy. All the festivals that have been canceled all over and all the writing and speaking engagements. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's bananas.
Miriam, can you hear me now?
You. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear
here you are.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. I guess you want me to say something.
I do. Yes, I'll repeat the question because we sort of disappeared for a while as I was trying to flub over all the technical issues.
Okay.
But Miriam, I wanted to ask, I'm going to ask everyone the same question about what their day is like. What is your writing day like now that we've changed completely? Our lives have changed radically in some instances.
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. I do work from home normally, so that, that is continuing. I'm trying to write. I think, like everybody, like Eden was talking about how her work has got darker. I don't know that that's happened with mine, but certainly there's a kind of low grade, um, like just the uncertainty of everything right now, of what's happening now, what's going to be happening in the future, I think is something that is real. But I find that for me, writing is just about like the only thing that I can really, well, really the only thing that I can control. And when I'm doing it, I it can kind of forget everything else that's going on. At least for those few hours a day that I write, maybe a few hours, maybe 1 hour. But during that time, everything sort of melts away. So that's great. I can forget about all of the, the real suffering that's out there, because our lives, we're fine here. Um, my mother, who's 84 with serious health issues, lives with us, and so we're doing our best to protect her, obviously. And I spend a lot of time babysitting my grandson, who's almost 2, so that his parents, my daughter and her partner, can work at home. They're working from home now. So that's that's about it. And that's, in a sense, I mean, that's what my days were before this happened as well. Writing, babysitting, taking care of my mom, going for walks around back lanes, places where people don't go. Um,
How about just have the news clips? Have you been watching the news? Do you try and not watch the news? Limit yourself to once a day, or are you crazily on Twitter?
I'm not on Twitter, but I'm somewhere. I do look at the news every morning. I am curious. I do want to know what's happening. Here in Toronto, in Winnipeg, also where I have kids and another grandchild, and in the rest of the world. I am curious. I'm a bit of a news junkie, but I try to, I try to limit it, because of course, it's depressing and anxiety making. But I do definitely, I try. But I'm trying to stay in touch.
No, I think we all are. Heather, how is it going for you? Do you find this a creative time, or do you find this a time that's sort of full of anxiety?
Oh, I create a game, and writing, there was some. It's odd when such an event, which is often a change the way it was. I did anxiety. How can it be? It's not actually. It's just a past world, and going to account the new world that's going to. But I just, there have been so many writer plagues, and to the bubonic plague, when theaters were, they always came out finding the sort of presentation, kind of discovering human, and so I did. Um,
Michael, how about you? How are you doing? What is your typical day like when you have to sit down and write?
I've been saying to a lot of people that I don't know if this is true for other writers, but in many ways, my life has changed less than just about anybody else I know, because I feel like as a writer, I've been practicing social distancing in many ways for years, and um, and I work from home, and so my day, it used to consist of walking the dogs, going to yoga a few times a week, um, and trying to get some work done. And now it's pretty much the same, except I'm doing yoga by Zoom, in my basement instead of driving downtown. So I feel like the shape of my life is actually very similar to what it's been for years. What's different, of course, is the shape of everybody else's lives around them, and that's been the biggest change for me is just watching it happen. But I do feel like in some ways the COVID crisis it feels like an extension of these rolling crises that we've been watching unfold for years. You know, the climate crisis and the move to authoritarianism in Brazil and the Philippines and Hungary and the United States of America. And but this is the one that affects us all. You know, even the climate change thing. I think it's possible to pretend that's not happening, but this one, it's impossible to ignore. You know, and it kind of seeps into every corner of our lives in a way that I think is going to make us. I don't know how exactly yet, but it's going to make us different on the other side of it, at least for a while.
Hmm. I agree. I agree. But what is it like to concentrate? What is it like? You're talking about big concepts. You're talking about we don't know what life is going to look like on the other side. People talk gradual lifts of quarantine measures. People talk about, walking around with immunity passports, things that seem so kind of 1984, and they also seem so restrictive. It seems like the world that we know will no longer be there. And as a creator, when you're thinking about writing and you are writing, how does that form in your mind? Are you writing right now?
I haven't been doing a lot of writing, but that's partly because my pattern is after I finish a book, and I had a book come out last fall. There's often a long fallow period where I don't write anything, and I'm just waiting for something to come along. But people have often asked me why most of my books are set in the past, and I haven't had a good answer for that. But I think part of it is that the present is so like what you make of what's going on today is changes so or can be changed so quickly by what happens tomorrow that the past is safer in a way. Even if you're writing about the things that are going on in the world around you, setting it in the past for me has made it possible to worry less about is this going to make sense or be relevant, or will I have to change a book halfway through completely because the world has fallen apart, you know? And so I think uh, I'm not writing at the moment, partly because things are so uncertain that it would be hard for me to find a narrative thread through it just yet, I think. So I've just started in the last week or so, started reading a lot more and writing a little bit of poetry. And that to me feels more suited to the moment for whatever reason. It feels like it's about a state of being as opposed to narrative, which I think works a little bit differently with the times we're in.
I agree with you there. There's something so honest about poetry and so immediate in the mind and so incredibly deep. I'm not one to write poetry, although I have been lately before COVID, the before, which something that another writer, Lisa Gabriel, quoted, I noticed on Twitter the other day. But in the before time, I had started sitting with Lee Miracle, and she was teaching me how to write poetry. And there's a beauty in that simplicity and just a rawness that I think that we need now. So
Hmm.
I can't wait to read some of your poetry, Michael, and to get those thoughts out that you're having.
I mean, I think for me too, the poetry has always felt more personal and private than
Hmm.
the fiction. And I know that's not true for everybody, of course, but I think that's part of the reason it appeals at the moment because uh, although we're all going through the same thing, and it's a global pandemic and a global crisis, the way that it's affecting all of us feels incredibly insular in some ways and really, really personal.
Have you guys keeping in touch with other writers? Are you developing like a relationship that you didn't have before with another creative person? And I open that up to
Well, I would like to say that my sister-in-law is an actress, and her partner is an actor. They're actors, whatever, however you say it. And so they suggested that we read a play together during, like, in zooming a play or whatever it was. And so that was really interesting. It was another way of being with people, and also narrative, because like Michael and you, Tanya, were saying. I mean, the idea of being, first of all, socially distant from everybody out there, and then as a writer, socially distant, and in every way distant, as we require this solitude, and we require to just go so deep inside ourselves, that the connection, the contact, the conversation with other people becomes, even more necessary, I think, than it was before. And I've realized too that I really miss large groups of people. I watched this crazy, Will Ferrell, I don't know, comedy about baseball, where he plays with 10 different teams in 10 different days. This is like a charity thing. Anyway, it was so funny, right? And so aside from that, just seeing that crowd at the baseball game, and thinking of crowds, and festivals, music festivals, or even maybe literary festivals, but crowd. I don't know about that, but music festivals, and the crowds, like, I just don't know when that's going to happen again, and I miss that. I love that.
hmm hmm Are you, Eden? Are you speaking with anyone, any other writers at all, keeping in contact with people, and sort of even fostering a relationship that you didn't have there before?
Yes, I'm off all social media while I'm writing because I'm very easily distracted. So, it's been a lot of emailing and texting, and all the, all the young writers that I've spoken to are, they're doing well so far, but a lot of your income when you're just starting out is based in the gig economy. It's workshops, it's keynotes, it's so the financial stress that they're under right now is intense and distracting. So I don't know how you would create under that kind of circumstances, but it has been good to to talk to them, and to go through like my own anxieties about older relatives, and how it's affecting like my nation specifically.
I
They've
was
been trying to get me on Tinder. I was like, I don't know, Tinder and Kitamat is like mostly cousins.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I was like,
Well,
that's
are you guys on Facebook? Facebook Messenger?
no, no. Facebook is my kryptonite for writing. I will follow all the threads all day, so I go off everything when I'm working on a novel.
I asked because, many of us in First Nations communities, that's how we keep in contact with everyone, is Facebook Messenger. Heather, how about you? I'm just going to bring you in again because I think we have you on audio at the moment. Can you hear me? Or maybe not. Maybe not. Um, Eden, I wanted to ask you as well, because you mentioned something that was really, really germane to this talk too, is what do you say to those young writers? What advice are you giving them? I mean, because it is so difficult to create right now for, if we're having issues, what's it like if you are just starting out and this is how you eat, and then suddenly things have so changed? What are your words of advice?
Apply for the $1,500 grant. Sometimes they qualify for CERB, sometimes they don't.
Mm.
So everyone is trying to figure out how to help each other, and everyone's trying to figure out like what they can bring to the table. So people are doing a lot of bartering, like I know that's how I got my bottle of hand sanitizer.
Bartering. So what did you give?
Bartering. The last of my seaweed.
That's
This Bella
awesome.
Bella seaweed too. So it's sometimes we're moving like past money, and I do miss the farmers markets on Vancouver Island. There were a lot of them, and I didn't realize how much canned stuff that I had bought until I had to pack it into my vehicle. But I will say that the pandemic has been horrible for my inner hoarder. I've been trying to Marie Kondo my apartment for many years. Um, and yeah, the pandemic has brought out all those things that my parents taught me about putting everything away, putting your pantry in order. So it's uh, I I worry that I'll become that kind of collector again, because
Mm.
it's a strange headspace to be in when you're not sure if you'll be able to get things.
Hmm. No, I agree. I do something maybe not as similar, but I'm buying doubles of everything, I find. And I only try
Yeah,
and like once a week I go to the grocery store. And if we run out of something, we run out of it. So I've started to buy doubles of things and triples of
yes,
things.
yes,
It's yeah, and I never did that before. So I
yeah.
guess that's the same sort of reaction to that.
Uh, yeah, I've also had to eat my own cooking.
I know, I
The first 2 weeks were horrible.
I know.
I, of all the ways that the apocalypse would manifest itself, it's me cooking.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
I
It's
think
a thing
that's
for
the
me
most
too.
horrific part.
Mhm. Not just that, but see of cooking. Like I wanted to. I don't know if anyone else is feeling this, but I have two teenagers. My son was away at school, and when all of this started, I drove up to Ottawa and brought him home. And so he's home here now, and then suddenly I'm preparing 3 meals a day, trying to get them to do the cooking, and it's also eats into your time as a writer too, right? I mean, your day is broken up now, and you're doing all of these things that you used to do before, when my children were little or smaller. And now suddenly we've gone back to, it seems like a time in the past where your day is doing all of these different things. Um, I don't know, Miriam, do you have that in your family too? It sounds like you've got a packed house.
Well, it's not a packed house. It's just my partner and I and my mother, and then my daughter and her partner and son live in a different household, but we see each other. Well, my mother doesn't see anybody. We keep everybody from her, but I babysit my grandson a lot, so that his parents can work. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it is this kind of constant. It would be so nice to be able to go to a restaurant for a change instead of cooking all the time. But I mean, it's all it's not it's I feel very, very fortunate, when all is said and done, to be, where I am right now, and here, with the people that I'm with. And the thing that I think about most, I think, is just the loneliness of, like, that idea. I mean, loneliness, I think as writers, we require solitude, but loneliness is a different thing. And uh, and as writers, we're sensitive to this kind of thing. And I know that, my mother's friends, for instance, who are by themselves, they're old, and maybe they're in nursing homes or assisted living, or just in their homes and can't see anybody. And that level of loneliness, I mean, that must have some kind of cosmic effect on the universe, that kind of, that specific kind of suffering. And so I mean, if I think of my own life, in relation to that, I have, there's nothing, I have nothing to complain about. But yes, there is a lot of cooking, it seems. Cleaning, again, no big deal.
Cooking, I know, cooking and cleaning is true, and laundry. I guess I'm
Yeah.
just complaining about my teenage now to absolutely everybody. So there you are. Michael, how about you? Do you find yourself doing a lot of household chores, cooking? You mentioned yoga. You do yoga on live stream now.
Yeah. Well, my experience has actually been completely different in terms of, um, as I say, my life, the shape of my life hasn't changed, but the feel of it is very different. So um, I'm finding it a lot harder to do things that before I would never think about. Like, I don't know if it's because everybody's sitting around doing nothing, but things like getting laundry done, or cleaning the bathroom, or in the before time, that was just part of the day. That all of those things had to happen while you were visiting relatives and getting out and getting groceries and going to meetings and stuff like that. But now, because everybody is sitting at home, well, Holly has a supervisor who used to say, if you want something done, ask a busy person. Because they are people who get things done. And I've found that as I've become less and less busy, I've become lazier and lazier. And it's harder and harder to get just the basic things done every day. Like, I think, well, that can wait till tomorrow, because there's nothing going on tomorrow. Hell, that can probably wait till next week. So I'm having to make more of an effort just to get the basic things of a day-to-day life done, it seems like.
I'm curious. How do you? Some writers write for 3 hours a day. Some writers write for 1 hour a day. Some writers don't write for days on end, and then they'll just go into a pattern and write for hours and hours and hours. Are you like any of those patterns at all? Are you finding yourself? Because I'm just asking because you mentioned laziness, and but is that what it is? And what is your writing style like? It's a very personal question, but what is your writing style like? Because we're all different.
Yeah, I mean, my how I go about the process of writing has changed completely over the course of my life, and has gone through different cycles as well. Um, I mean, when I was a single person living on my own, I often wrote. I started writing at 10 or 11 at night, and wrote through till 3 or 4 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And since the kids have been part of my life, it became more. I would get up at 9, or I'd get up and help get the kids off to school, and sat down at 9, and I treated it like a day job. Lately, what I've been trying to do when I have a fiction project is to set myself a word minimum. And that seems to work for me, like a 500 word minimum. I find even on my worst days, I can scrape out 500 words. And even then, if I look at it the next day and I erase 450, I have 50 words I would have had.
Mhm.
And if you write 500 words a day for a long enough stretch, it really adds up. Um, so for me, that's been the most useful way to go about the fiction side of writing, for sure. But I am absolutely a lazy ass, and and it's taken me a long time to come to terms with that and to accept that, and also to accept that wasting time is part of my process, and that I have to sit for long periods of
Yep.
time, apparently doing nothing.
Yep.
So uh, my way of speaking about it now is that if I don't waste time, nothing gets done.
Yeah.
I I was speaking to Thomas King. When I was asking, there was a reason why I was asking you guys about who you correspond with and if you're talking to any other writers, because I email sometimes with Thomas King, and I was complaining about my lack of concentration, and I said, I spend most of my time staring out the window some days. And he said to me, 95% of writing is staring out the window. So there you have it. Michael, I don't think you're lazy. I think that it's what we have in our minds, that we need that space to think and to create before we can get it down. That's my defense, anyway, of being a writer like you, sounds like. Miriam, how about you? Are you someone that says, I'll do 2 to 3 hours a day every day, or do you just do whatever feels comfortable to you?
Those two. I don't work every day, but I do try to, when I am, sort of actively engaged in writing a novel, say, I will try to write. I'll try to write every morning, and that usually maybe 3 hours maximum. After that, my brain is just kind of fried, and I have to stop. But but during this COVID business, it's so funny because I always work in the morning. I can't really do anything in the afternoon as far as writing goes, and so, but my kids and are like more than ever, because they're both all of my kids are at home with 2-year-olds, so they're just constantly zooming with me and all of this stuff, and FaceTiming and Skyping and you name it, right? So there'll be like ready to do my work, and boom, it'll be another grandkid, and I can't say no, because in part I'm being used as a babysitter, even like online.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
physically,
Yeah.
physically, literally, but also on the computer. So I have to spend a lot of my mornings, when I should be writing, like just kind of making crazy animal sounds and, playing goofy games, like, "Rah," I'm a bear, you a bear, like all morning long. So I have to jump up and down like a rabbit, and then I have to, so I'm trying to write in the mornings, because that's what I do. But it's yeah. I fail most of the time.
No, it's not failure. It's not failure. We're
Right.
thinking, we're processing, that it's all going
Yeah.
to come out. That's what I
Yeah.
tell my editor anyway.
That's true.
Heather, I think Heather's back. I think she's back on audio. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yay! Yes, we can hear you. And join us. We were just having a talk about how your writing process is at this point in time. Like, are you able to, and are you the type of writer that sits down and you'll say to yourself, I'm going to write 5,000 words today, or I'm going to write for an hour. Has your pattern changed at all? Your output changed?
My pattern and output hasn't really changed. I still write for the same amount. I mean, I write a lot, but I think the hours during which I write are different because I was always, um, I've always been a night owl, but now because the world is so disconnected, I've taken it to another extreme. And so I usually start writing at around 5 or 6 in the evening, and then I'll just write until 3 in the morning.
Mm.
And then I just go hang out with my boyfriend. And it's unusual too, because we don't usually have these big blocks of time together because he tours a lot and
Mhm.
I travel a lot. And we were
Mhm.
both actually supposed to be touring. So now, yeah, so
Mhm.
now I write for about 8 hours and then we get together and just get stoned and discuss things like minutia and philosophical ideas. It's just super fun. That's like how I've basically done away with the daytime, so I don't have to deal with COVID because it's become such it's so surreal that I can't even kind of cope with the outside world, and it's gradually fading away. So I don't know. I think it will probably lead to. I mean, for me, I've been self self distancing since I was 12, so I have a lot of coping mechanisms for it. But even I am starting to feel that there's a tenuous grasp
Mhm.
on our relationship to the outside world. And and I just have this little circle of people. So basically, I disappear into a novel for about 8 hours, and then I come out and have the most absurd discussions because nobody's actually been engaging with the world. They've just been sitting at home thinking about strange things. So that's kind of nice. It's almost like everybody's a novelist now because they're doing the same sort of
Mhm.
intense self-reflection.
Mhm. And it actually sounds like we're all the same kind of people too. I mean, all of us sound like we've been self-isolating for years, right? And I think you have to be in a way because when you're a writer, you spend a lot of time alone. You spend a lot of time in your mind, thinking
Yeah,
about which direction you're going in. And yeah, right? Like that's who we are as people, very much.
yeah, and for me, I had just as the quarantine hit, I had just received some edits back from my editor, so it was a perfect time because I'm already so deep in a novel that the world building is there, and it's such a complete universe and the characters. So going there seems particularly easy in this time because the real world seems so foggy and uncertain and some sort of dystopic thing where you can't even touch other people. And then when I go into the novel, I connect more with people and there's places to go and I can walk down a street and meet and have dialogues with all sorts of different people. So it's actually, the fiction seems more real now.
Said too, so that's how we all live, right? All of us are like that. I think everyone on
Mm.
this Zoom and everyone that's a writer can identify with that, creating worlds in your mind. Eden, how about you? How is your writing? Are you doing? Are you able to do 500 words or 50 words or 8 hours straight?
My life ever that my introverted nature has become a superpower. It's usually like the society that we're in right now is built for extroverts. It's built for people who are outgoing and social. And this is the first time that, if you can spend like many, many days in your own head, it's an asset. Um, so now that I'm at the end stages, I'm in the same place as Heather. I've been I done the structural edit, and now I'm going back for the fine tuning. And the 2 weeks in self isolation will be helpful in getting that done. So my editing routine is different from my writing routine. Writing I can only do for about an hour, maybe two. But editing requires a lot of looking out the window, looking at the wall as I sort of mull the pieces and try to fit everything together. I Let's see. I can edit a lot longer than I can write. So I would say 4 or 5 hours a day.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's probably true for many of us. The editing is it's different, right, than the writing. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm working with something that's already there and just have to add or subtract from it. You
Hmm.
know,
Exactly.
I find creation takes a little more energy, so
Hmm.
I can only go for like 1 to 2 hours before my brain's exhausted.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel the same way, and hence my 95% of writing staring out the window. You know, I think it's doing so much thinking what you're going to say. uh, I asked Heather this, or sorry, I asked Eden this question, so I'm going to ask this question to you too, Heather. What do you say to young writers? What do you say to those that are out there that haven't had their first book yet published? Do they want to publish? And now they're caught in this time. What words of advice can you give them?
I have no idea. It's because the world is. I mean, it's so interesting that we're in a historical movement that in a month or two the world might look completely different in how we interact. And even when I started writing at the beginning of this, because I had a lot of essays that I was in the middle of, and they just there was no point in placing them or pitching them to magazines right now because they didn't even make sense when the context with everybody worried about their relatives and they weren't even reflecting on the fact that there's a pandemic. So there's also that kind of anxiety whether the the sort of devastation of this would be such that even your themes would not matter because they're not colored by or reflective of a sort of new normal. So it is a very difficult time. But I do find within all this, I know my daughter works at a bookstore and just the orders for books are insane. And also poetry has been selling a lot, which means that people are looking for more sort of complex riddles within language. So there is going to be, I think, at the end of all this, an increased demand for literature and voices. So that's definitely a positive. But with any specifics, it's every writer has their own particular path. Like I can to tell you how to get a book out there is the same if I were to tell you how to go meet someone and fall in love. There's a million different routes to it.
It's so true, so true. And sometimes it just happens, right?
Yeah.
Miriam, what about you? Any advice for young writers that are out there and that's listening to us?
If you're going to write, if you're a writer and if you're going to write, you'll write. And I mean, I just believe and I feel that we have to remain optimistic and hopeful that that books and narrative and stories are going to be something that will be with us forever, and there will be a demand for them, and there will be a love of them, and there will be a creation of them by writers, and that pandemic or no pandemic, I mean, we still want to see ourselves, our lives reflected back to us in narrative. And so a writer will write because you have to write in order to stay sane, in order to feel alive, and that's what you do. So there's no advice that I can really give other than not to lose faith.
Some questions now from people that are watching us. And one of the questions, this is a really good one and really simple for everyone to answer as well, is what are you reading? Are you able to read right now? So what books are you looking at, Michael?
Yeah, I am reading, and I go through periods of my life where I don't, or I find it difficult to read. But this hasn't been one of them. And poetry has been a big thing for me recently, and I think I talked a little bit about that already, about why that is. Thomas Tranströmer, a Swedish poet, Miriam and I were just talking a little bit about him. He just has been a constant companion the last little while. I'm also reading, got my hands on a book that's not out yet, which is Eva Crocker's first novel. She had a book of stories a few years ago called Barreling Forward, which was fantastic. And I'm about halfway through the novel. That's also terrific. So I think one of the interesting things, and maybe this is a positive for younger writers out there, is that one of the interesting things about the situation we're all in is that I think it has made space in people's lives for books. And that is something that this society has not really prioritized for a long time. But I think there's only so much Netflix you can watch. There's so many dog walks you can go on, and there is space in people's lives now for reading, and I think that is something that not for everybody, and maybe not even for a lot of people, but there is a group of people that I think will carry that forward into the after of this situation.
Into the after, yeah. Eden, what are you reading?
To get out of my head and get out of my own worry by reading novels. I can't see what I'm reading right now.
We'll give you a pass.
Yes.
Miriam, how about you? What are you reading?
I'm actually a biography of Penelope Fitzgerald, a writer, by Hermione Lee, who's just a really great biographer.
That's awesome. And Heather, how about you?
I'm reading a book right now called The Luminous Republic by Andre Barbas. He wrote another book called Such Little Hands, and it's a book about a group of feral children who show up from the woods and take over a town. And yeah, it's really quite beautiful. I also read a memoir that was really nice. Really nice. Billy Ray Belcourt just wrote a memoir. I think it's coming out next month called A History of My Brief Body, which is the sort of academic analysis of his body and his childhood and growing up on this reservation with a twin brother, and just all sorts of beautiful, like deep, like penetrating analysis of sexuality, but that is somehow at the same time very readable.
That sounds incredible and absolutely fitting for this time as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell everyone that I'm reading Thomas King's new book, Indians on Vacation, and it should be out in August. And it's a wonderful escape, and it's funny, just like him. So we're coming to the close of our very first ever Writers Trust webinar. And before we sign off, I want to thank Heather. I want to thank Eden. I want to thank Michael. I want to thank Miriam being here and for sticking with something that's not been easy, because we are trying to do our best and we are writers and perhaps not the best with technology. So I appreciate everyone. It's been really nice to see you and to talk about writing. And I also want to remind everyone to apply for the fellowship. Again, the Writers Trust and the Writers Union of Canada. We've got a fellowship. We have a program right now, so you can get $1,500 if you apply. $1,500 you can use to help pay your living expenses. The deadline for applications is midnight tonight. Miigwech, everyone, for joining us.